This man's been in the film industry for a really long time. I've known him for a long time. The pleasure of one of the best directors and people I know. His name's Chiken Green. Let's give him a nice round of applause, everybody. He's going to talk to us about film.
Oh, man.
The mic should be on. If it's not, then there's a mute button on there, and you can adjust accordingly.
Chicken salute.
I like
Talk
it.
to the folks. Oh, man. It's like back in the day, back in my music days.
You can bring that mic anywhere that's good for you.
All right. But I need to be in this, right?
Yeah, it'd be better probably to come back a little bit, and then I'll get you on a triangle of awesome. Yeah, that looks good.
That's it.
That looks pretty good.
My
You
check.
got a
Oh,
voice?
it's working. Wow.
Do you think?
Oh, that's it? Oh.
Hey, you ready?
Do another queso as well.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you. You want that everything else? Yeah, that's fine.
There we go.
Now you have to start doing calisthenics.
That's-
10 minutes.
I know, right?
Oh, no.
I love the hat. That's awesome.
Appreciate that.
Yes, yeah.
Special occasion.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Never before filmed.
Oh.
Yeah.
No? All right. Wow.
It's right out the bag.
How's it feel?
Feels
Right?
good. It's wearing good.
All right, Chicken Green, everybody. Yeah.
Thank you. Lord have mercy. So, yeah, man. So I'm Chiken Green. Thank you, Chase.
Is the volume on that?
I think. I'm gonna hear myself.
Okay. Is there?
Pump up
Is
the
it?
jam.
It should be like a. You talk directly into the mic.
I'm talking directly into the mic.
Okay, that's
Here we go.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Yeah. So, all right. So, yeah. So this is kind of awkward. It's a little bit weird. So there was like these music people that came on before me, and they were outstanding.
Nice.
Right? And so I'm like, yes. And then after me are like some comedians who I think are going to be outstanding. And then like crammed up in the middle was like the film director guy. And I got really nervous because Jason was like, hey man, you can show some of your movies and stuff. It's like, really? I don't know. So yeah, so I don't know. So I feel it feels strange because there's so much talent, and being a film director it's so much of not. It's being talented, but it's working with everyone else. So it's not me individually jumping out there saying, "Hey, look at me." Even though there are some guys that do that, and that's totally fine. So yeah, so our thing is a little bit different. But anyway, so how did I get here? I guess I'll start from the beginning. And I know some might say that my beginning was this film that we did called Brimsley's Walk, which was like this fantasy film that we did like a long time ago. But that's not really the beginning. I think the beginning is when I was about yay big. Yeah, about yay big, and I was with my mom and my dad, and I was doing all of these mischievous kinds of things, stealing, and running away from home, climbing over cars. And then my parents would ask me, "Yo, what are you doing?" And I would say, "I'm not doing anything. I'm good. Everything is good." And that's when I learned at that moment that I'm a storyteller. Because I used to tell story after story after story. And you always knew the ones that were good because you didn't really get in trouble for them. The ones that were bad were just too unbelievable, and it wasn't gonna fly, and you were on restriction or whatever happens in the household. So I stayed away from those stories, and I stuck with the ones that kept me out of trouble. And then it got to a point where I was like getting in trouble just so I could try to get out of trouble with the story. There were some kids here earlier, and I'm glad that they're not here because this is not what they need to be hearing. But yeah, so I used to get in a lot of trouble, and I used to try to lie to get myself out of trouble. And the lies, as a small kid, like they were like super elaborate, like not little lies, like lies that, like my dad. I love my dad, So my dad would, if you lied to my dad, you have to lie to him for like a month. Like not just the one lie, like, because he's gonna be all right, then he's gonna come back and test you on it. And every day he's gonna ask you, and you're gonna build on that lie, because you have to. Because as soon as that lie falls apart, it's on. So I got really good. I got really good at just adding pieces to the lie. And then I actually think it got to a point where I was like, the lies were so cool that they just wanted to hear the lies. Because I'm pretty sure that when I mentioned spaceships and me driving, that should have been game over. But it was kind of exciting, and so they just rolled with it. And yeah, man. So that was kind of my introduction into storytelling through lies. I had some doozies. So anyway, so when you think about the kind of films that I make, and I know you guys are like, what films did you make? Whatever. When you think about the kind of films that I make, they're always all over the place. There's aliens, and there's just whatever. It's just whatever comes to my head. I would like to make a film about it. And a lot of times they're like, yo, are you black? Because those are not really the typical black topics. But it goes back to when I was lying. I mean, you just had to roll with it. You just had to keep adding to it, and they kept asking. It had to get bigger. So yeah, man. So that's kind of where my stories. That's where it started at. So then after that, I got into writing. So I was maybe 8 or 9. I used to write these stories about all the kids in the neighborhood. So this was a cool one. So I would write these stories. It was like this Friday the 13th, because I was a fan. So it was like this Friday the 13th thing with all the kids on the school bus, with all the kids. Like, we were on the school bus and all of my friends, and I would write these little stories about how they were all gonna die. Like, you know, we were all in a group, because, you know, Friday the 13th, they all die, you know. So we would write these stories, and they would all die. And then, so I would write it on like the weekend, and then I would give it to them, and then they would read it, and they would, oh my God, like, that's really cool. Like, I'm still alive. And then the ones that weren't alive, I didn't like them too much anyway. But anyway, so yes, I used to do that. So that was my thing. So I was writing that, and I never really thought that I was a good writer. I just thought that everybody liked this stuff. And so my favorite thing to write is like ensemble pieces with a lot of different characters, and it actually started from that. So yeah, so that was me growing up, and funny, because I used to have a lot of time to write those things, because I guess those lies that I told you that I was telling that were so elaborate, and that, like, I never got caught. Well, eventually I did get caught, and so that would be like, yeah, 3 weeks of restriction, or 1 month of restriction, or like the whole something, like whatever. Like, I was just punished all the time, and so I would write these stories because I had time. I had plenty of time. So anyway, so we go from there into writing, and then from writing I go into poetry. So I'm a little bit older now. So a little older, and got a little hair on my chest. I had this mustache. It's not good now, but like when I was a kid, like I had like a grown man mustache, like on a little, like I was like a little dude, like, but I had the grown, yes, right? Yeah, the mustache, like, yeah. So it was out of control. So anyway, so I wanted to talk to some of the girls, but I really couldn't talk to a lot of the girls because my imagination was like super, super weird. So I would write these poetry things, right? So it's like, all right. And I'm like, yo, if you write poetry to the girls, even though it's really weird, it just sounds really cool. Man, success, bro. Success. Everybody, poetry is the way. If you are awkward with the ladies and your head's bigger than your body, like go to poetry. So go to poetry roast. So yeah, so I went from there. I went to poetry, trying to talk to the girls, and then here's the cool thing. So then I'm sending poetry out, and then some of the older guys were like, "Hey man, you write that stuff?" Like, yeah, bro, I write this. Hey man, can you write something like that from a girl? Yeah. So I'm writing stuff for the girls. And I never really had a girl after that because I'm writing for everyone else's girls. So I have like 6 or 7 girls. But I have no girl, but I'm on all these relationships. Anyway, but all of this was like me writing for people. Like not for myself, but writing for people and writing for different ages, writing for different races, just writing. And like me looking at someone like you, my man, and saying, man, yo, think I know what you would sound like. And I would write something for you, and then you would give it to someone, and they'd be like, yo, that's amazing. The good old days. Anyway, so that was kind of, I didn't know what was happening, but that was just me writing, creating characters, because I knew them, what they looked like, but I didn't know them so I'm like building characters around these people, like what I think they are, and then they live up to it. Like I hope they did. I hope some of these people went on and got married. I never checked on that. Anyway, so yeah, man, so I did the poetry thing, so I did my short stories, then I went to my poetry, and then I got into music. So I started writing songs. I rapped myself, but I wrote R&B and rock. I wrote everything, and so I'm always writing for other people. Had people in my group, I would write the stuff for myself, and I would write better part for them. Go figure. But anyway, so music was like 20-something years of doing music, and that was cool. I had a few record deals. This was pretty special. Watching you guys. No, this was really cool, man. Watching you guys do this, because it just reminded me of, back in the day, showcases. I'm from LA, so we used to, the K-Day showcase, like always going to these little places. Like when I was 16, I was telling people I was 19, and it worked because had that professional stash. It was professional. So yes, I'm getting in all the clubs, and we're doing these shows, but it just kind of reminded me of, like, music was my thing. I loved music. I loved getting on stage, doing your thing, and watching people react. And when I first started out, there was nobody out there to react, so imagining how they would react. But eventually we got really good at it. So music was my everything, man, for a long, long time, until someone decided that my equipment probably was better in their house than in my own. So so we get on the road, and we go perform out of town, and we come back, and that was it for music. So that was a tough one. So we went into like a really, really dark place, because I just knew that I was gonna be this music guy, and I was gonna take my music, and I was gonna write a script when I got older and hand it to them, and they were gonna be like, hey, yo, your songs are all that. So it didn't work out that way. So I took about 3 years to try to find myself, or find that voice, that artistic voice that we have to have, right? Like you have to have that. Friend of mine called, because I was here at that time. Friend of mine from home, Tony, appreciate you, dog. He was like, hey man, you gotta write again. Like, just start writing. And I was like, what are you talking about? Oh, my equipment is gone. Like, they stole my masters. Like, what am I going to write? Like, dude, just write. So I wrote books, I wrote poetry, I wrote all of this stuff. And then, all right, well, I'm trying to write a movie. So I wrote a movie. It was funny. So I got some college rule paper. Had a job at the time. That was embarrassing, because I never really had jobs before, so I had to get a job, because I had a kid, so I had to get a job. So I'm working in corporate America now. If you're an artist, and you're doing your thing, and when you're taking care of yourself, and people are looking at it, and they're calling you by your stage name, and things are good, and you're getting phone numbers, and all this stuff is happening for you, and then you have to go to a corporate job where they tell you have to wear a tie and these pants, and the shirt. Hold on, y'all. Man, so that was a huge thing. Like, I don't know how. I mean, God bless people who go to corporate America and who are still artists. Like, God bless you, man. Because when I was at corporate America, it was like, ooh, this is really bad. Like, this is a drain. This is the worst. This is the worst that my life has ever been. I'm older now, so I've done 20 years. So I'm about 50 now. So this was. Yeah, man. So I'm like, right. It's black, man. It's the black. No, it's the black. So yeah, I'm 49. I'm 49. I'm not 50. I'm 49. So
Chicken Green still got it going on.
Yeah. This man. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, man. Anyway, so yeah, man. So having to do that, man. Like, wow. Like, how how do you do that? How is that possible to go from what you thought your life was, what you knew your life was, and now you have to make a new life, a life that you don't even want. I didn't want that life. I didn't want that corporate life. Anyway, so I started writing. So I'm at my corporate job, and spending all this time, all this overtime. So I got me some paper, some college rule notebook paper. And while I was supposed to have been working, because I was a horrible corporate employee, and that's what y'all get for abusing me. I was horrible for you. Anyway, and I just started writing, man. So I wrote a script. I wrote a script called Easy Money. And it was 200 pages. I wrote 200 pages front and back, and it wasn't formatted right. Like it was a book that I said was a movie script. It was a good story. That thing sucked though. But I was like, man, but writing that and letting a friend read it, and they lied to me big time. No, I'm not gonna say that. They didn't lie to me. They never read a script before. So this is a script. And they're like, yeah, this is cool. Now that I know what scripts look like, bro, how you do me like that? That was no good, yo. That was a mini series. But that's important. That's important to have people that are in your corner that will take the time to give you an opinion on something that you've done, whether it's music, whatever. Like, man, big shout out to them, man, because I think a lot of us don't make it if we don't have that person. Like even the most talented people who are just in the room by themselves, and you're alone, and you don't want no one to hear your music or see your painting. Like, you don't want no one to know. But then someone knows, right? Does someone always sees it or hears it, and they're like, hey man, that's fantastic. You should do something with that. Oh really? I didn't want you to look at it. It's really good. You made it? Right? It's like, if you don't have that person, man, like, you're not even an artist. Like, you're just a person that's just doing stuff on their own. Like, because as I've learned what art is, like, art is something that we give to others. And if you're not giving yourself, your art, to other people, you're not an artist. No one knows what you are. That's not what art is. So anyway, so big shout out to the people, man, who help us. Like, yeah. Hey. So that was huge, man. So he said it was good, and I thought it was good, and I let some more people read it, and they didn't think it was good, but the one person said it was good. So but at that point, I was in corporate America, and I felt different. I felt like I found my space. I found my voice again. I found a reason to do this job, like a reason to do stuff. So I learned from that point, man. I took, and this was over 20 years ago. So at that point, I read every book that you could possibly read on how to write a script, and also the film industry in itself. Because that was another weird thing to me. When I was in music, I started off as a kid. I was writing lyrics when I was a small person. I used writing and all this stuff. Like, people were reading my work since I was really small, and now I'm old. I feel I'm older now, and I'm up against people who've had cameras since they were like 8, 9 years old. Like I knew who you were, and so I'm like this old guy. And that was it's fun because art. There's no age with art, but it was really weird. I felt like, man, I'm really behind all of these people. I'm so far behind. So yeah, man. So I had my corporate job. I went to work and worked my 8, 9. I worked my 9 hours of corporate, and then I would go after work every day to Barnes and Nobles, and I would stay in Barnes and Nobles until it closed. And I was in the entertainment section, and I read everything that Barnes and Nobles had about making movies. It didn't teach me how to be an artist, but if I felt confident that this world, because I knew those little kids, you didn't read them books, you don't know that language, you didn't read that stuff. So I felt then like, okay, I could bang with you guys now because I know more than what you know. You've been doing it longer, but I know more because you're just small and dumb, and I'm old and smart. So I needed that though. I needed that. I'm from LA. I've seen how movie sets run. So I just pretended like I was in Hollywood. So when I started spending my money on making my movies, I just did it the only way that I knew how to do it, which is pretty close to like the professional way. Anyway, getting ahead of myself. So I studied, and then I'll never forget. So I'm ready, right? 1 whole year of just like going to the bookstore every day religiously until they closed. And I never wanted to buy the books. I didn't want to go to a library and check them. I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to go home with the books. I wanted some place that I had to go to get right, because that was like, it was they should put like University Barnes and Nobles. University Barnes and Nobles. The one in Buckhead, right there. Religiously went there. So I get to the end, and I'm ready to roll now. I know how to write. I know what to do. I know what cameras are. I don't work them, but I know what they are. And I know all the positions, and I'm ready to rock and roll. So they do the 48-hour film festival thing, right? So I go down to the 48-hour film festival thing, and I see what it is. We're gonna make a movie in 48 hours. I'm like, man, this is awesome. Yeah, okay. But when I got there, well, you gotta edit it, and I don't know that. I don't know how to do that. So I didn't participate that time, but I went to the screening. Funny. So I go to the screening, and so film people have a lot. First, especially here in Atlanta, there's like a lot of white people. I love white people. Good people. Had a lot of white people, and I dress closer to y'all than I do with my peoples. My clothing and my color schemes and my hats and stuff is a little bit off. I always have been that way. Just always, yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. I don't get that from. But anyway, so I remember going. So they had it down there. Midtown Art Cinema is where they were screening the movies at that time. So, and you got to walk down that hill. Got to walk down past where Rita's is. Got to walk around that corner. So I was walking, and I was a little bit lost because I couldn't find it, because Trader Joe's is up there. So I really couldn't find a movie theater. So I walk around the corner, and I'm on the phone, like, man, I don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden I see a group of white folks dressed so ridiculous, like so ridiculous, and I'm like, oh, yes. That's them. That is them, yo. They're my peoples. My peoples. I run down there. I watch the films. I perform in it next year, and I do pretty good. But I remember because coming from music now. When I was in music, now my clothes, regular clothes, were kind of whack. But my music clothes, it was good. I had good music clothes. I was an artist. We're getting to my artist clothes. So yeah, man. So when I saw all those folks down there, I was like, yo, I fit. That's where I belong. And man, like, we were just sitting in there, just all mal-dressed and everything, and it was a really, really good thing. So that was cool, man, because you always kind of want to find a place where you feel like there's something, like when you're a part of something, there's that one moment where you belong. Because you could be good, you could sing, you could be whatever, but there still has to be a moment where you're there and you say, yes, okay, I might be different from everybody else, but different belongs here. And I was different from everybody else, but my different was like they're different, and everybody was doing this different thing, and we were, whoo, boy, we can't dress. Nevertheless, so that was kind of the start of my my film journey. So then this is the other thing that you need. So once you got all of your people behind you that are supporting you, you need a Linda Burns. You need Linda Burns in your life. And so Linda Burns hit me real hard. So we were at this push thing, and there was all these filmmakers, and we were supposed to get together and make a film. And there was like 40 or 50 people that were supposed to make a film, right? And it was the assignment. They all signed up, but only like 9 people made a film. Like 9 people actually finished the film, and I was one of the 9 that finished the film. Cool. So then we all got together to watch the film. Super cool. First time I ever made anything that had the filmed. So my film played like 5th. So I watched 4 other films that were really good. And I knew immediately, this is not gonna be good. My sound is messed up. I started to shot off the scene, and then we were out there for so long that it was one scene, but the sun was moving around. But they were still having the same conversation, but the sun was moving around. So, oh man, this is not gonna be cool. Now, but it was one of my joints though. It was one of my sci-fi stuff where, you know, I had bodies and stuff falling out the sky, and I ain't know nothing about no CGI. So we were stuffing clothes and stuff in trees, like we were stuffing, and they were falling down. Like it was awesome. It was raining bodies, like just dummies just falling out, and it was so much fun. Like I was having a blast. But so my film came on, and it was bad. It was really bad. And thank God it wasn't the last film, because you don't want to go home on the bad film. So some other films played after mine, and they were all great. So Linda Burns decided to say, Chicken, God bless you. You know, X amount of people signed up to make this film, and only 9 people finished. Yeah, and you was one of them. So, you know, pat yourself on the back. Okay, thank you. She said, that was the bullshit. Ooh. And she just tore into everything that was wrong with that. Like, I'm already like, I know what's wrong. But she just tore, like, everything. Like, she just ripped it. Even the parts I thought was good, she just crushed it, man. You gotta have Linda Burns in your life, man, because I was kicked to the floor. And then when I went back the next week to the push thing, and they had another project, and all right, let's do it again. And ever since then, man, she's Linda Burns. She sent me stuff. Like, she sent me people to work with. She sent me props. I still have some of her furniture at my house. Like, I asked her one day, it's like, yo, it was so horrible. Like, why? And she said, man, because you came back. You know, you picked yourself up and you came back, and I knew you'd be good. And that stuck with me for a long time. That moment, just that was good. So anyway, so yeah, man. So that was, oh my God, really? Wow, the time is. Anyway, so yeah, I was only supposed to be up for so long, and if that clock is right. Nevertheless, so yeah, man. So that keep going. Oh, okay. So man, so with Linda saying the things that she said, and I guess I needed that, you know, because if you're an artist, you know that all the songs ain't right, all the performances ain't the best, you know, all the paintings ain't the best. Like, you know, there's those moments, and someone has to tell you that, you know. And so, and that taught me a thing. And the one thing that I learned from that I'm always going to hold dear to me, and it's what I would tell people at this point: your end result is not what you're striving for. The best thing about what we do is the process, the creativity, the collaborating with people, the working together with people. Like, if you master that aspect of being an artist, of being a director, if you master that, then you're fine. Because whether people like your movie or don't like the movie, whether they get it or they don't get it, it doesn't matter, because you have one person that got it, and then everyone enjoys the process. Film is really cool, man, because when you're out there, you're doing the long hours. That's fun. When you get a film job and someone's gonna pay you a week, you know, every week you're gonna get paid this. That's fun. When it's over, you ain't getting paid no more. No more checks, it's over. So who cares what everybody thinks about it? I mean, you care, but process, man. Process is always going to be the most important thing. That's the thing that I learned throughout my entire journey of starting from lying to my moms and dad to writing the stuff on the school bus. Like, it was like when I was a little kid and I was writing, and I was like, oh, I wonder what they're going to think about this. Like, it was so exciting as I was writing it, you know, and once they read it, it's kind of over. Man, my music days, I used to love performing being on stage was the best. But it wasn't like the rehearsing and the practicing and the thinking of how this is going to be. Like it wasn't that when you first finished that song and you knew that was this is it. Like that you can't get that back. You can perform and the people will love it, but it's a different kind of love. That's them. It's not you, right? It's them feeling it. So anyway, so process is always going to be process is always, I guess, the number one thing. All the stuff that it takes to get there. So yeah, man. So that was my journey. Gosh, there's a lot more. Man, why I only get 30 minutes, man? I need 2 hours. But so anyway, so I guess I'll come back one day. But that was kind of how I came to be here, and I guess fast forward to where we are right now with COVID time. So right on the edge of great things, like I remember when the piece was dropping. 2020 is about to be the year. Everything is in place, yo. This is it. 2020's let me down, yo. So I remember that, man, and I just remember I don't want to say crash and burn because I'm pretty sure some people are having good 2020s. I don't know who you are. If you're having a good 2020, man, call me. Let me know something. I don't know where them people are, but 2020 for me is crashed and burned. And I'm still doing little things, and I know how to. I'm just a creative person. Creating is not, So that process of creating something, I'm always living in that space. So I feel like I'm doing pretty good. When Jason hit me up about coming to do this thing, I had no idea what this thing was supposed to be. He's like, hey man, so I was like, yeah, come. I think he said come get interviewed. I don't know. That sounded like that, right? So I'm like, oh snap, okay. And it was this was some months ago, right? This was some months ago. So things was kind of cool. It wasn't so bad. Like we were gonna, it's gonna magically disappear. Anyway, so I'm not gonna do that. So anyway, so things was really really cool, man. So anyway, so not knowing where our film industry is at this point. Regal Theater is closing, AMC is closing. I was driving up here and Broadway is shutting down. Like it was like, wow. When Jason sent me, when coming here, it was like an out of the blue kind of thing, and it's like, wow, like relationships that you make, and you don't think anything of them, Like I treat everybody the same way. This is just who I am. And I feel like one of those gems came to nest, like, and now here we are doing this, and it was like honestly amazing. Like it was like just what I needed. I needed this, you guys. So yeah, man. So but that's what film is. That's what directing is. You don't know when we come to work, when we come to do our project. We don't know. You have all of your plans. That's why I didn't want to show a movie. I didn't want to show a movie or anything because I'm like that's not what directing is. That's what watching a movie is. But that has nothing to do with being a director. That's being a fan of something. Being a director, the steps that it takes. That's what I wanted to talk about. That's the thing. And then coming here and not knowing what this was going to be, not knowing if we were going to be inside. I'm black, y'all, so this cold is killing me. But not knowing where we're going to be, man, thank you for staying. I was like, he's going to leave. I'm just going to be talking to this thing right here. I don't know, man. This, I don't know, like, this is really cool. This moment is cool. And I feel like I'm having this moment and you guys are having these moments because of the process, because we really believe in the process. It's not the end result. I didn't look and say, man, I said Taj Mahal, bro. I didn't say outside of there, that doesn't matter. It's that. And I didn't prepare anything. I didn't do anything. I just said I was gonna just come up here and talk just about what, just about the process. And I figured that would be enough, but I wasn't sure. And so I'm getting up here and looking at this clock, man. This clock is big, yo. Clock, huge clock right here, like tick, 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 and I'm like, yo, how long am I supposed to be up here? Damn, that clock is going slow. But once you start doing the thing that you love, you start doing that. Now I'm mad because time, like I'm way over time. Anyway, guys, I don't know if this helped y'all. It helped me, but I don't know if it helped you guys. But I appreciate being a part of this. I would love to come back and tell you the second part of Chiken Greens. Yeah. Thank you. So anyway, Chiken Green, I'm out, film director.
Yeah.
There's Chiken Green. Where can we find your information, Chicken? You check him out on Facebook, definitely. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. All right.